Hello from my little corner of the world, the library that is the Grape Jelly. Thank you for joining me, and today I am excited about the three books that I am about to read. One of them I have already, two of them I've already started. Um, I don't think you're going to see these two coming. And the one I'm going to talk a lot about. The first one that I am going to talk a lot about is Loud and Clear, and this was written by Brian Anderson. And I begun this book today because I was excited about it. See, I'm so excited I can't even enunciate correctly. But anyways, perfect book to read on a hot sunny day, and I just couldn't wait to get to this one. Now, don't ask me why I want to read a book about speakers, the speakers of the Grateful Dead, but I do. I'm a big music lover, just as I am a big book lover. Books and music make my world go round. Let me tell you this. By page 7, I was already laughing. The first 2 pages I was sold on. The first 2 pages read, got that excitement building up within me. And in the back of my mind, my wheels are turning and they're telling me that I need to listen to more Grateful Dead. I have dreams and ambitions of becoming some sort of pleasant little cottage witch, for lack of better words. I want to create my own little sanctuary within my house. I want to grow my herbs and make my teas. And I have to say, oh my goodness, while we're on the subject of teas, let's stay here at teas. I recently tried a blueberry lavender tea. Woo! I am now a tea drinker. And then I had the most wonderful rose, I guess, oat milk. I think it was a latte. Yeah, a latte. And it looked a latte like this. Okay. Anyways, look how beautiful that is. And it tasted wonderful. And in my mind, although I'm not a smoker, the wall that I was staring at as I was drinking this was painted a muted pink. And my brain just kept saying, I want one of these every day at noon with a cigarette. And then I don't want a cigarette before or any time after. I only want to tap into my old lady vibes and have a cigarette and this drink, even though I don't smoke and I'm not going to have a cigarette. But I mean, I was conjuring up this 1950s old lady that, she's just lovely, and you just want to be around her and you want to just do like her. And I don't know, but to me that sounded awfully fun. Okay, back to the book. Sorry about that. Okay, so now I am becoming this little cottage whatever. I want to grow my own herbs and cut my own rose petals and make my own homemade recipes, and I'm heavily into healthy eating. I'm starting to get back into the exercise because that is important too. And, for a little while there, I got away from my water. And I noticed I was getting a little crabby. But I'm back on the water. I'm back on the healthy food. And I'm getting back into the exercising. And I'm telling you, I feel like a million. All right, so I'm going to start listening to more of the Grateful Dead, because in an interview I heard that Jerry is just mellow and soft-spoken, and we all know that he is. If you know the Grateful Dead, we know that he is. But I like that he doesn't get mad, and I like that he himself had said that he tends to like not want to get tied up in things, and I love that because I don't want to get tied up in things either. So the first page definitely sold me. I am on page 23, but on page 7, this made me laugh out loud, and I don't know why. It's not funny, but to me, I found humor in it, and I absolutely loved it 1000%. Let me see. Let me see if I could dial right into where it was. Jerry Garcia, the understated guitarist and singer whose anti-authoritarian views made him a leader who largely refused to lead. That is the part that I am in love with, because yeah, it's hard to be the boss, and it's much easier to be the guy in back. And we all know that he was the leader, the main focal point of the Grateful Dead. But he didn't want to, he didn't want that power. He just wanted to be like the rest of the band, the regular guy. And I love that. So I am having a good time with this book. And the first page of this book, I still want to read it to you, but I'm afraid of getting flagged for copyright. But here, I'll just tell you. Okay, the artifact. I'm just going to tell you. So, Brian, the gentleman who wrote this book, he tells us how one day in November he had this large wooden crate box delivered to his parents' house. He did not live with his parents, but it was just easier to have it delivered there for the driveway, the garage, that sort of thing. So anyways, he called his parents out, and they opened the box together, and they stuck their head in the box, and they moved all these packing peanuts, away from this gem that is residing inside. And here it is, a speaker system that is handwritten or stamped G Dead, and it is one of the very first sound systems that they used, and they didn't use it very long, but nonetheless they did use it. And so it went up for auction, and he became the proud owner of it, and he said it's invaluable to him. And I guess if you're like a big enough fan, sure, why wouldn't it be? So I don't know, I thought that was a great way to start off a book about speakers, opening a box that holds speakers. And what better than speakers that were used by the Grateful Dead? So I don't know, if you're a Grateful Dead fan, you might want to pick this book up. All right, so now that I've had my fun with that one, we're going to tap into the nosy side of me. Now, I don't like to be nosy. I'm not going to lie. I don't like to know your business. I don't. But sometimes I want to know. And so, E.W.Hanks came out with this book, right? I have no knowledge of who she is and what she's about, so why would I want to read this? Well, I caught wind that whatever she reveals about her father in this book is a dandy. Okay, so there's where the nosy part of me comes out, because I want to know. Don't ask me why. Why do I want to know? Her father is Tom Hanks. And I'm going to tell you this, okay? I'm going to tell you this. I remember Tom Hanks, because I'm old, when he first started out on a sitcom called Bosom Buddies. And that was a sitcom type of show where two best friends were looking for a place to stay, and there were no vacancies, but there was in this like hotel that only housed women, and so they both dressed up like women in order to get an apartment within there. So that's the Tom Hanks that I was first introduced to. Then as my son was growing up, it was Toy Story. Now, I am going to sit here and I am going to say I have never seen Forrest Gump. I have never seen any movies that Tom Hanks was in. I don't know. I don't get involved in any of that. He's leaving the country stuff. He's tangled up in this mess. He's affiliated with this person. We're gonna do a Jerry Garcia here and not get tangled up in those things. So I want to know. This is her memoir of her mother. I guess her mother's name was Susan. I'm just learning all of this myself. So her mother's name was Susan, and it was Tom's first wife. And apparently, Susan traveled around a lot with her daughter. I do not know if Tom was present. I guess I'm going to assume that he was, because there was a little revelation that I caught that Susan was abusive, I guess, towards Tom. I don't know if she was abusive towards, I guess her name is Elizabeth, and she is nicknamed Minnie. So if I'm wrong with any of this, please feel free to correct me, because like I said, I'm just learning all of this right now. By the time I read this book, I will be able to tell you the story, what's what. But anyways, I want to know. So I guess her mom passed away, and then Tom married Rita Wilson, and Minnie Elizabeth never called or referred to Rita as her stepmother. So Elizabeth is traveling to all of the places that her mother went to, and she's speaking with the town folk, with the community, I guess to conjure up some memories, or to try and recollect, or maybe hear stories for the first time that she was too young to know. But this last paragraph on the inside flap, I love it. From the quiet expanses of White Sands National Monument to the bustling streets of New Orleans and the Texas-Mexico border to the swamps of the Florida Panhandle, she interacts with the amazing breadth and diversity of the people who call these places home. Reckoning with the past, the present, her memories, and herself, Hanks brings us along a beautiful voyage toward understanding how the stories we tell about the places we're from ultimately become the stories we tell about the people we are. So yes, I love that so much. Now listen. Okay, so in an effort to read what I own, I am still on the challenge, but I cheat a little here and there. But I'm pretty strong on trying not to buy any books and reading what I have. Once in a while I fall off. But anyways, I've had this on my shelf forever. Tom Hanks, Uncommon Type, Some Stories. Okay, so this is a November 2017. Are you kidding me? That's not how long I had it, but that's when it came out. But anyways, I decided before I read the 10 that I'm going to read this. Not that either one of these are in relation to one another, other than being family. The storylines in these books do not tie in together. I just wanted to clarify that. So I said, you know what? Let me see what kind of writer Tom actually is. Okay, so we know that he has talent. All right, so this is a bunch of stories that he has put together for our entertainment. And it starts off like this. A hectic, funny sexual affair between two best friends. a World War II veteran dealing with his emotional and physical scars, a second-rate actor plunged into sudden stardom and a whirlwind press junket, a small-town newspaper columnist with old-fashioned views of the modern world, a woman adjusting to life in a new neighborhood after her divorce, four friends going to the moon and back in a rocket ship constructed in the backyard, a teenage surfer stumbling into his father's secret life. Okay, so that is a vast collection of stories, and I am just about finished with the first one, and that is a sexual affair going on between two best friends. Now, I often wonder in my mind, like, I think I'm a little bit reserved, and I think that, like, I'm the type that I keep my business, all right? So I often wonder, like, how somebody like Madonna could be just so bold and put it out there, knowing that she has children that are going to see her art. That is not me condemning anybody. That is me wondering, because I am not that personality. I couldn't do that. I don't want to say it's not respectable. I don't want to say that. It's just not my speed. I couldn't do that. I have a son, and I have certain beliefs in certain ways that I want to conduct myself. So anyways, I wondered with Tom and his children, because Tom doesn't seem like very boom, if you know what I mean. But I wondered how he was going to put it out there in a tasteful kind of way, or was he going to be raunchy, or what? What was he going to be? Well, I am here to testify that he's adorable. He is adorable with the way that he explains certain goings on in the adult world. I'll just say that. So he very, very tastefully chooses his words wonderfully, and were he an everyday common person looking for a girlfriend, I would say somebody would be a fool not to date him, because he's not so reserved. It's wholesome, but in a much, much more playful, whimsical, definitely fun kind of way. He is a good writer. Right? He knows how to pick and choose his words. And so far, like I said, I'm only on the first story, and I don't know, I kind of like what he does. So they are the three books that I am bringing you today, and I don't imagine that any of you have read them, or perhaps even have them on your shelves. But that's why I am here. I am here to bring you books that you might not otherwise even take a second glance at. So stay tuned, because I will be reading these in the summertime. I'm going to be finishing them up as soon as I can. I want to get as many books read in the summer as I possibly can. So I'm trying to be good girls and go to work and come home and, like, try not to live so much of a full life. I'm trying to scale it back a little bit, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm trying to be disciplined in my reading. And so that's it, kiddies. Know that I love you. Whatever you are reading, I hope you have a ball. Toodles.